Real politics now. We find ourselves 167 days away from the election. And if you look at the polls, the president is clinging to the narrowest of leads, just under 2 points in the latest poll average. And tonight, the focus remains on specific voting blocks, with no group getting more attention, it seems, than Hispanic voters. And Andrew, why is that, and what's the latest with it?
Well, the why is that is because the numbers are so lopsided among this one group. But the latest, not exactly what we expected. We thought Mitt Romney was going to be looking to close that deficit among Hispanic voters today with a speech to Latino small business owners at the Chamber of Commerce in Washington. Instead, Romney focused almost entirely on education, giving just this head nod to Latino voters.
Here we are in the most prosperous nation on earth, but millions of our kids are getting a third world education. And America's minority children suffer the most. This is the civil rights issue of our era.
Now that, as the Romney camp goes on the air with its first general election Spanish language ad.
¿Cómo sería la presidencia de Mitt Romney? Día 1. El presidente Romney aprueba inmediatamente el oleoducto Keystone.
Now, there is a reason that Romney is targeting Hispanic voters. In the primaries, he was, some would say, forced to take positions that were unpopular with Latino voters on the DREAM Act, immigration, and self-deportation, as well as border security. Maybe one of the reasons why Romney is 40 points behind the president among Hispanic voters, according to the latest Pew poll, and faring even worse with Latinos than John McCain did 4 years ago. But if the GOP can somehow reverse that trend among Hispanic voters, the reward would be enormous. The nonpartisan group Resurgent Republic analyzing poll and census data to put this chart together, and it shows you 54% of Hispanic voters, the numbers on the left, consider themselves to be conservative. If you ask them, they'll say they're conservative. But 51% of Hispanic voters are registered Democrats. A lot of conservatives don't vote Republican. A lot of liberals don't or vote Democratic. It's a divide between ideology and voter registration that the GOP, Rich, has not been able to bridge.
All right, and Bill, let me start with you. The primary, he may have obviously emerged as the nominee, which is what obviously the job one here for Romney, but can he really close the gap? I mean, he's also got the problem of he's the Etch-a-Sketch guy, that he'll say whatever he will to get elected. Can he turn around and say, I didn't really mean that here. I do support a version of the DREAM Act, or I'm not going to be as, round you all up and send you to the borders. Is that going to really fly between now and November?
He can absolutely turn it around with Hispanic voters. I don't know if he could get a majority of voters, but there are millions of Hispanics in the country. That is fertile ground for Republicans because exactly as the intro mentioned.
But how do you unring the bell on all the things
by talking about things, for example, about the lawsuit going on with between the Catholic Church and President Obama? I mean, Hispanics are predominantly Catholics, some are evangelicals. Those are things that's a way that you can talk to Hispanic voters. What you're looking at here is a reflection of how the general election is shifting from some southern states and Midwestern states to the Southwest. Arizona, Nevada, those states have a large portion of Hispanic voters, and that's where the president's campaign is now targeting.
Okay, you disagree?
Well, Bill's very good at what he does. That's why he makes a lot of money.
Whenever he says that, he's going to get a smack.
And Latinos may be fertile ground for Republicans, but they won't be for Mr. Romney. There is no way in the world that he's going to turn around what he's done. And I'm going to quote Beyonce here, a singer. She has one song that goes to the left, to the left. As you was playing Mitt Romney, that's what I see. To the left, to the left. He's now coming to the left, and he's hoping that Latinos were not paying attention during the primary campaign when he was Mr. Conservative.
You sing it there, John.
To the left, to the left.
All right. Let me get to the next one here, guys, because this poll I found fascinating, and the subject is religion. This time, it's not about whether a candidate's Muslim or not, Andrew. This is about the faith of one Mitt Romney.
Yeah, this is the focus on Romney and his Mormon faith. Most Americans know very little about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, getting what info they have from public service announcements or from entertainment vehicles like the show Big Love, or for Broadway lovers, hi there, from the Book of Mormon.
I believe that in 1978 God changed his mind about black people. You can be a Mormon who just believes.
If you haven't seen it yet, you should. But when asked about having a Mormon president, more than a quarter of those polled in the latest NBC Wall Street Journal poll said either they, their family, or someone they know would have concerns about having a Mormon president, Rich.
Do you think at the end of the day it's going to change a vote?
I think it may stop some evangelical Christians from going out to the polls, and I think there might be some independents who have some questions about what that's going to mean for the decisions that Mitt Romney would make.
Bill, does he have to have kind of a reverse conversation where Obama dealt with the issue of race here in that Philadelphia speech after the Reverend Wright? Will Romney have to have, I'm a Mormon, I'm proud of it, but my first, like John Kennedy did, I'm to the America first, to the church second.
Yeah, he did that during the primary in 2008. He had a speech on religious freedom and invoked John Kennedy and others. I think the issue should be largely passed. I mean, here's somebody who went through the Republican primary and did win that primary. I think evangelicals will show up for him. There's no question that that prejudice remains out there in the country against some religious groups or ethnicities. There's no question that exists.
People know Catholicism, they don't know Mormonism. That's part of the problem.
It will remain an issue for Mr. Romney, just like race is not over for Obama.
Right.
The bottom line for Obama, what this election is going to come down to, and this may not sound fair, but I think that many voters that may not support Obama this time around will say, listen, we gave the African-American guy a shot, it didn't work out.
But Dominic, who's gonna drive this? Like, who's going to drive the Mormon conversation? I don't think President Obama can do that.
I don't think the Democrats no one's going to say anything about it. It's what's underneath the surface.
Surrogate.
And I don't know if it'll manifest itself one way or the other. Would they ever vote for Obama, the ones who have a question about it? I don't know either.